Hi, Sue Rose Minahan, Talk Cosmos Chat for January 6, 2021. The election process has been successful, but through such a tremendous test and continual problematic confrontation between populations here due to the voicing belief structure of the president at large right now, who happens to be Donald J. Trump. Let's look at some screens, or not screens, but at charts. Because there is a missing element that is so critical of the shadow side. We're looking at unbelievable shadow side of certain characteristics that have prompted this crowd to participate in such a way that is defending their sense of entitlement. And you, in a crowd, is an emotionally based group. It can receive from exterior forces, such as Trump, a direction, and people follow it. They give up some of their individuality in order to be part of a group. And they also can, on the positive side, one can learn and do a lot in a unity of a cohesive energy. And of course, with a belief system, one can imagine that that is the purpose, whether it's the crusades or whether it's bashing into the White House. Now, this actually is at the last moment. Let's look at, I think, this other chart here at 1 o'clock, where this crowd that had been listening to Trump got so pumped up and told, actually directed, to go march and retrieve their lost rights. And as we can see, Mars is conjunct in applying to a conjunction with Uranus. It's at the Mars is at very last degrees of Aries. It's been there since June 29th. It has purpose of defense, purposes of causes, separation. It can be war when of great anger. It just depends if in its becoming for what purpose of this heroic attempt of direction. It is a motivation, a direction. And when it's attached to Uranus, it's very unpredictable, explosive, and explosive because it has sudden erratic bursts. It has energy that suddenly comes out greater. That 6 degrees Taurus is going to be evident later in the chart. So that is a chart by itself. Let's see with its biwheel with the USA today, that 6 degrees Uranus here happens to be square our natal nodes, the 6 degrees Leo. Leo is our creativity and manifested. It's a beautiful energy. On its shadow side, that leadership that it presents is strictly for one's own purpose, for a kingly right, queen's right of domain, telling the role models of everybody so that it all serves them, because oneself is the great giver of energy. And so that's a shadow side that's being picked up on in some element of the population that perhaps is not totally aware of it. And also with the Sagittarius rising, the voice of Sagittarius has that purpose. It's the polarity point of Gemini, where we have words and communication, but here they're put together in such a way that we can present our belief system. We can share and elevate and learn and teach. However, it can also be so opinionated with its own viewpoint and its own frame of reference that it is devastating to anything else. And that is one of the issues. The ruler, Jupiter, is conjunct our sun, and in very nurturing, protective Cancer, and its shadow side is just my clan, nobody else's. So it takes that entitlement of Leo and the elitism of the South Node, which is the shadow side of Aquarius, and it's very particular. It's not inclusive. And as you can see right now, it is triggering energies, Mars, with the transiting North Node. Now, there was an event that went on just before the election. And let's see, oh, here it is. Okay, in October, Biden and Harris were in a bus in Austin. They had to stop their entire tour because a little van came by, a car for Trump, and just pushing them off the road. And young Democrats, they canceled the event, and others canceled it. As you can see, Trump, who represented that truck in the sense, because they were people that were following him, and it definitely said Trump when you look at the pictures. Trump's natal Pluto, which is our transformational energy, which is for soul growth. You know, we shed what isn't working to empower ourselves, and we go through a deep process. But on that shadow side, when it's manipulated for power, just power for any task, any purpose at all in Leo, which it can be if it hooks up with its shadow side of entitlement, is ruthless, potentially ruthless and dangerous in ways that Pluto, when you study that energy, can manifest. It's destructive because there is this always an energy of destroy and create. I mean, it's not a bad thing just to destroy, but it can be, and it certainly was today. It was quite evident. And Mars here, that defense that's also so much in that Leo ability, where again, if you're creating great manifestations for identities, wonderful. But when it's just for that power of self, very destructive. In this chart too, okay, so that was that. And I'm also trying to find, I have different, Nero, I has suddenly thinking there was quite a bit of relativity because he sat in his tower of enthroned, or however it was, and let Rome as it was burn or be destroyed, such as Trump went to the White House and just sat there while his quote people were out doing, in a sense, what he had said: go retrieve your rights, that he, in his own philosophy of strong opinions without any foundation by the courts, you know, of there wasn't fraud. And you can see now that Biden has successfully, the legislature has gone through it. So let's look at this particular one. It just interested me that Trump's Saturn, which also Saturn in its shadow side is very autocratic, it's rule based, and it happens to be conjunct that sun, that also the father figure of leadership, that is in Cancer, protective just of the few. I'm going to see if there's another chart. Whoops, I lost it. Okay. Well, oh, there we go. Okay, here we are. Yes, there is interesting considerations. Like today, the Twitter totally got stopped. I think Mercury, I didn't show you that, but Mercury was right at the midheaven of one of these charts. And it, The law actually has sense in the case that in great shock, it's people reverted back to the law. They realized the boundaries had gone so far that they better stay the course. Blessings to you all. And do comment, please.